Say what? A whole ass superstar on this stage tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say whose house, y'all know what time it is. This band to the Fula chain with the Tula name. Make you dance and prance. They draw the fans and say, name is Run, my son. Number one for fun. Not a gun that's done. Then get done by none. In fact, you just whack, I kill. What? It's fun, my son, and Run head the bill. Who's house? Face what? Who's house? Face what? Who's it? Face what? Who's house? I love y'all almost as much as the Father on behalf of the Father. I'm great. I bust the most rhymes in New York State. On this crime, produces job. They wanna be down with the king. Matthew 21st chapter, 12th verse. Jesus runs up in the house and tell the colonizer a classroom in the slave master's seminary, sellouts, run, run, run. Jesus went to the temple of God, drove out all those who brought and sold in the temple, overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. He said, it is written, been in your Bible the whole time. Run, run. My house shall be called a house of prayer, where those that made it a den of thieves, and the blind, and the lame. You know, our kids and our community, they looking for something right now. Not the nationalist Jesus, not the colonized Jesus, not the European rewrote Jesus, not the colonizer classroom Yeshua, not the slave master seminary Jesus. You can get a master's of divinity, master's of Christian educational leadership, any of the masters, and not know nothing about the master. You can't even master yourself. Our community, they want to see the living Jesus, the glorified Christ. I got your back. I'm on your side. You're going to see him today. And the lame, it does something to a young king when he's unable to stand on his own 2 feet. It's like that boy in the activities of the apostles, not the words. Luke part 2, 22 different Holy Ghost hood power encounters in the book of activities. All of them take place coincidentally in the marketplace, or they affect the marketplace, except for the one in Acts 3. Yeah, the man is carried. And after he has his encounter, notice something. His pecs work fine. His arms work fine. It's his ankles. Yo. I know we out of football. Oh, it does something to you when you get your ankles broke. Quad's cool, but you can't quite stand. And so it's debilitating to a man who can't quite get his footing. But when you understand how to stand 10 toes down on this thing, it's reality. How you see a thing matters. Then, after he had his encounter with Christ, the men that had to carry him, his homies, they unemployed. Still affects the marketplace. Now he's able to stand. See, those that are blind are children looking for not the blue representation, not the red representation, but they looking for the kingdom representation. Y'all go ahead and meet me in Isaiah 9. You already know. We just getting started, warmed up. And so, they're able to see how Christ really moves in the slums, how he moves in the urban metropolis. And then our young men that grow up in a rough, rugged, raw reality, they see a rugged dope boy. They see a rugged robber. They see a rugged Muslim. The Klan even got a rugged group running around with masks in their hood. Where is the representation of the most rugged, raw, revolutionary you ever walked the earth? Because what thou seest, thou becometh. I got another book. I ain't even think about it. Stephen Covey got one added to your reading list. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He got a chapter in here, chapter 5, page 235. It'll bless your life for the rest of your life. It says, seek first to understand and then be understood before you looking down your nose at a 23, 24, 25-year-old young king, not a YN. And you like, he ain't really got no foundation to understand what it means to be a community contributor, to be a man of God, to walk by the sacred principles of becoming a kingdom man. And his reality has been rough, okay? His reality has been militant. And this ain't the 60s. He don't got a Howard Creasy to look at, a Abernathy to look at, a Daddy King, an MLK to look at. He ain't got a Leon Howard Sullivan to look at. He ain't got a William Herbert Gray to look at. He ain't got a Joseph Lowry to look at. He ain't got a real a Joe Roberts to look at. He ain't got a real man of God that got a little nice soft Easter speech from Mama and them in the building on Sunday. But how did Gwendolyn Middlebrooks describe Daddy King and the impact and influence of having a rough, rugged, raw one, right? Having your back. 135th anniversary, might have been 136, I'll be off a little bit. She said, she referenced Christine King Ferris. She referenced Mary Gurley. Both, all of them spiritual mothers to us as the remnant, but they daughters to Daddy King. We can't miss this principle. Watch it. She said, Daddy King used to pound on that desk, pound on that desk, pound on that desk, say, I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it. You Negroes too quiet over the things that matter, right? And so she said, I'm going to tell you what. She said, this is why I'm so loquacious of speech. She said, it's because Daddy King used to pound on the desk, pound on the desk, pound on the desk and say, I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it, I'm going to say it. You Negroes too quiet over the things that matter. Now watch it. She had Daddy King. Can't get the son without the father. And all of our mothers, these incredible teachers. You know why? Because they had a Daddy King. They had a William Herbert Gray III. They had a Whitfield Nottage who fought for them to get inside of the education space. Our daughters, not us, our daughters, the granddaughters of our spiritual mothers, the ones that came out the womb with these devices, they looking for one to fight for them to get inside of the digital space, that their digital brilliance will dominate. They got the culture and the country attempting to objectify them. It's hard for our daughters, the great ones, the ones in high school and college, attempting to pursue their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, entrepreneurially, professionally, academically. They need a couple dollars. They don't want much. They want a little fit, they little hair and little fingertips done, and they deserve it. But there aren't a lot of methods for our daughters to be able to perpetuate income, especially the ones who got a little of them. Forget the mistakes she made. She's trying to get right now. And she don't need nobody looking down and all that. She need love. That's the topic of the day. We had Valentine's. Y'all spent some time with your boo-boo. Let's spend some time with the father. It's President's Day, right? Y'all got the day off. What'd she tell you? It's not a day off. It's a day on. We into the king. Those that were blind, those that were lame, that were looking for representation. Who gonna fight for us? The least of these. What James tell you? The widows and the children. Those that are fatherless. The sacred scroll wasn't written in English. It's written in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. Expressive African languages. The original word for God is Ab. It got 2 derivatives. Abba, the authoritative side. We get father, go a little bit deeper. Sometimes we stay there sermonically shallow, right? It means source, sustainer, protector, provider, progenitor. I ain't got to spend time. Google every single one of them. Then it's another side. Ab womb, Adam, ab womb, Jesus, ab womb. Let's talk about Jesus. He had a lot of titles: King of Kings, Lord of Lords, even Nicodemus. John 3 came to him. It's like, yo, my guy, I'm up here. You know, Nicodemus was on the same senatorial satanic Sanhedrin country council as Gamaliel, right, Raphael? Gamaliel. Ask Warlock, your senator. And notice something, when he came to the Jesus, I mean, I got the bars, I got the credentials, but it's no way, God's green earth, you can teach the way you teach if you weren't sent from God. So do me a favor, tell me something about the kingdom. He said, listen, my boy, I can't talk to you about the kingdom, things of the spirit, because you caught up in the flesh. You got to be born again. He like, I don't even like that door. He thinking about it from a worldly perspective. You got to see this spiritually. Because when you had your fleshly birth, your mama's water broke. But when you get born again, your will gonna break. Look at the case study in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus goes, Father, die for these niggas? You sure? All right, not my will, your will be done. He go back to niggas asleep. You sure? Not my will. Yo, these niggas, for real? These niggas right here. You sure? Eat 3 times. Kingdom moving threes. Notice this repetitively. 3, 3, 3. All right, we in Isaiah 9. Let me get this there. He says, just sucker tools your mouths. I set a trap for rap. This crap, it runs out. But when the chief priests and the scribes, the religious leaders, when they saw the wonderful things, not that he said, because they be talking a lot, that he did, and they saw the children, they saw the community crying out in the temple, saying, Hosanna to the son of David. Them niggas was mad. They was indignant. Up in your Bible right here. I'm in Matthew 21:15. And they said to him, do you hear these things? And Jesus said, have you never read? Out the mouths of babes and nursing infants, we have perfected praise. What? Who said? Say what? Miscalculate my intent to create what I call the great. Oh, the song, and I prove the wrong. See my song so strong, I make them come along. In the door, hip hop, hardcore, for the casualties and catastrophes and tragedies. For the suck seat, use a strategies to get the praise and worship over. Let's get in it. MCs, whoever you may be, you need to come outside, guide the chef, your mouth, all about, no doubt, just shout, come and turn it out. Dean K, Urban Success University. Let's get into the lecture of the week. We in Isaiah, the 9th chapter. Told y'all to meet me in the 6th verse. For unto us, the village, a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders. And his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase, don't miss this, y'all, of the increase of his government and peace, there will be no end upon throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice from that time forward, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts, it's the militant God, will perform this way. The zeal, the passion of the Lord of hosts, Joshua generation, will perform. We will perform this way. We put your hands up. Are not celebrating the country today. We're teaching the kingdom. There are 2 governments operating in the earth. Countries and kingdoms. Countries, they got a constitution. Kingdoms, we got a covenant. Countries, are built on elections. They're built on administrations. They're built on policy. Kingdoms, we built on culture. We built on covenant. That is the administration and the law we built on. Love, we can have disagreement and love. She said, she demanded, she decreed. We put the love in front of our disagreements. And you know, I'm just my mama's little lightning rod. The prophet Isaiah, being used by God, said the government shall be upon his shoulders. Not the Congress, not the White House, not the Senate, not the Supreme Court. His shoulders. The culture, the law, the administration of that government, love, the kingdom is on his shoulders. See, we talked about the two different types of government. Countries, they govern by law enforcement. They govern by policy enforcement. They govern or try to by manipulating military enforcement. Kingdoms, we govern by the culture, the administration, and the spiritual law of the Father. Love, the law of the kingdom is love. The culture of the kingdom is love. The administration of the kingdom is love. And you gotta understand, love ain't weak, my boy. Love, you may have not been put up on game. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. They mighty for the pulling down the strongholds Satan has on the minds of our children in our community. You know, we got a different terminology over here. And this spiritual warfare at its finest, you don't know. Faith is a weapon. Love, that is a weapon. That bright hope, can you see it now? It's a weapon, but the greatest weapon of all is love. That's the topic of the day. The most powerful spiritual weapon ever released in the earth by the Father is love. Listen to me. They trying to country manipulate you. It's been in your Bible the whole time. The kingdom advances violently. The violent take it by force. But hear me, young kings. Hear me, my daughters of destiny. Not physical force. Not street force. Not emotional force. Kingdom force. And the kingdom force is love. See, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. It's the reason ICE trying to provoke my youngins on the south side of Atlanta and Philadelphia. They know this ain't Minnesota. You know what I mean? Listen, don't fuck around and find out, my boy. And I'm trying to tell you, Mark 5, a young boy comes to Yeshua and he remembers the stories of old, sees Jesus. Jesus don't come to him. Say, Jesus, don't torment me. I heard about them real ones. I heard about them real words. I heard about that real mentorship. I heard about the real OGs that was transparent and how it transformed my fathers in them generation, but we ain't got them right now. I heard our daughters. You know, I heard about the benevolent fund. I heard about how the mamas gave back. I heard about how they helped. I heard about how they nurtured. No. Jesus ain't come to him. The young buck had heard the things of old, raised by mama and them. But when they look up at the church house of the day, a lot of folk then took that old hymn, my God is a mighty fortress, literally, and they locked the doors. Ladies, not y'all. They only seeing dudes who slide in on Sunday morning with an entourage of security, slide right out. Slide in on Wednesday with an entourage of security, slide right out. And them men don't look nothing like the men they see every day going to and from their everyday life, standing at the bus stop. So in their minds, you remember, seek first to understand and not be understood. In their minds, they like, well, you don't look like the men that I look up to. You don't look like you can survive 5, 10, 15 minutes in the environments I gotta navigate through. You only come in my hood for optics. You coming in to give a little Easter speech. Nothing you talk about is relevant to me. Listen, hey kids, seek first to understand and then be understood, right? We talking about the principle of fatherhood and how it helps their developmental ages. And we talking about those who've been 24, 25, 26, and then we looking at a bunch of political folk that slid in 20 years ago who don't have a connection with the kids. That's paramount in the black church. You done came into a community as a community father, as a representative of God, a father to a fatherless, and none of the kids know or like you. I don't know how they do in their buildings, but that you've been what the colonizer used to turn our community congregations into commuter congregations. See, let me unpack it. If 90% of the people who worship in our urban worship centers live in our community, then as a spiritual father, as the pastor, as the rabbi, as the imam, as the organizational leader of that congregation, if 90% of the people live in the community, you have to address the needs of the community when addressing the needs of your congregation. But if you flip it, you take, just because they across the street from each other, it's reflective in tons of our urban metropolis nationwide. But if you look at the corner of Auburn and Jackson, you can see the Heritage Sanctuary of Historic Ebenezer. Then you can see the Horizon Sanctuary of Historic Ebenezer. So when the government brought and took control of the heritage, then slowly through a 20-year period, the Horizon is now filled with people, 90%, 95% of people who no longer live in the Atlanta metropolitan area. They drive in politicians, aspiring folk, down nose, you know what I mean? In order to get, I go to Martin Luther King Jr.'s church, I ride in. And so 90% of the folk who worship in the Horizon don't live in the community. So John Vaughn, your senator, can ride on the legacy of community impact made by the Heritage Sanctuary, Daddy King, Joe Roberts, sit in the sanctuary built by Joe Roberts, Mr. Community Engagement himself, but when meeting the needs of their congregation, don't have to address the needs of the community. It's the difference between what we talked about with the two derivatives of God. Abba, the authority side. Oh, I'm the father. I'm the da-da-da-da. Source, sustainer. Those are all descriptions. Then we get over to Adam. We get over to Jesus. He went above and beyond the job description. He didn't move by the titles. He moved by love. Love will get you to do things that the board that hired you won't understand. Jesus talked about the hired one. He said that the hireling comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The empowerment, the inspiration, the heritage, the legacy of our children. They see the wolf coming, turn their back. They don't give a fuck about our kids. Not me. I'm the good shepherd. I lay down my life for the sheep. Why? This the order I got. I didn't get it. I didn't get it from my father. Well, I got it from my father because the Bible declares that when you entertain certain folk, they be angels. Yeah. God gave me the assignment by way of our mamas. And I'm so motherfucking bad. I lay down my life and I pick it the fuck back up. 3 days. It's commandment. The order I got from the Father via our mamas. How in the world did Jesus run up in there and flip the tables and they security ain't getting? Oh, they tried, but they ain't understand the kingdom weaponry. I told you, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, against spiritual wickedness In high places, listen to me, fact check me, if you would. Nowhere in our history as an African people have any of our prophets been pussies. How? 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 How in the world you gonna stand 10 toes down to spiritual wickedness in high places if you a bitch? Black man, right now, African kid, right now, standing in the Washington Mall, right now, arms folded, right now, looking at them weird-ass pecker nets, right now. He ain't no bitch. Now, they different, okay? They just different. See, she talk about the prophetic side of her daddy, because she seen him in the mix. She was 5. That's double grandma. Told you our daughters grow up. Nigga, your grandmama ain't never been in the hood. Well, our spiritual double grandmama ain't never been in the fucking hood. So Bernice is not rough, rugged, raw. She don't really understand how to translate that shit. Get the fuck over it. It's only one Yoki. She said it herself. You seen the clip? My sister didn't have the ability to get all of that out. Bernice don't know. She learning. She like, it's cool. Love you, Niecy. What? I told you, the weapons of our warfare, they're not carnal. They're mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds that Satan has on the minds of our children. What was Yoki focused on? Our kids. Integrated Springfield Elementary as a kid. Led Grady High School student government. Hello, our mamas, Cynthia Dolores, Nodage Tucker, her auntie, Edith Scott Bagley, was shutting down, finally, college for teens at Edith campus. Edith Scott Bagley birthed the creative arts department at Cheney, just like Yolanda birthed the creative arts department at the King Center, right? In 1982. Y'all didn't get it? 2002, when that was her 20-year anniversary of her creative arts department. She birthed Urban Success University. 2022, our daughters, in all the buffoonery, it's the 40-year anniversary of our creative arts department. Yeah, we giving that creative art. Yeah, we giving that work. Do Bernice understand it? No. Why? Because Bernice up in the altar. We out back in the alley. And could nobody impact the alley with the message of the altar like her big sister, my kingdom big sister? What? See, the strongholds, they're the strongholds on the minds of our sons. They're the strongholds on the minds of our daughters. They're the strongholds is in the trauma of our single mothers. They still our daughters. It's the strongholds in the economic hopelessness that the country is trying to push on our beloved community. That's the strongholds of our language divide. And you know the only real weapon we got that's gonna be able to pull them down? Love. She only one. See, love is spiritual warfare at its finest. Told you, love is the administration, the kingdom administration of heaven on earth. It's the culture of the kingdom. It's the law of the beloved community. Love is, listen to me, this chess, this not checkers. Checkers is reactive. You make a move, I make a move, you make a move, I make a move. Checkers is more strategic. I'm only making the move I'm making, so you make the move you make, so I can, you know what I mean, boom, 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 boom. I'm a couple steps ahead of you with this thing. Maybe, unfortunately, you only got the colonizer classroom and the slave master seminary. I'm a little different. I was prepared for this by our mamas. So I'm a little bit more kingdom strategic. And love is the greatest strategy against these satanic systems. See, when you look at our urban hood, the country that wants to provoke those that they've neglected, talk a good game, but where you at now? And what's the country want? What ICE trying to provoke in our urban communities? Violence, violence. I got something for you though. The God who heals. Because when a country wants a violent reaction, the kingdom responds with revelation. What? The kingdom responds with, I don't know, love, kingdom force. Y'all remember Martin Luther King Jr.? Praise break. We need some healing. Manifesting now. Manifesting now. Manifesting now. Manifesting. Feel your love. And I died. My bad, y'all. My bad. So my mom was wanting me to teach you this. ML, affectionately, respectfully, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. practice nonviolence. Nonviolence is not passivity. It is the practical application of kingdom love against satanic forces. He weaponized love to expose hate. That was kingdom governance. Don't miss it. That was kingdom governance exposing hate. You know, my two spiritual fathers, Leon Howard Sullivan, William Herbert Gray III, both had the dynamic experiences of being homies with Martin Luther King Jr. And though they lost ML as a homie, both gave me insights toward the man practically. They both got to be Nelson Mandela mentees. You watch the Select Patronage documentary of Sully, and you see Coretta Scott talk about when Sully and Mama Grace took her to Africa and she got to meet Mandela, that this was the dream ML Dr. King was talking about. And so when we look at Dr. King and we look at Mandela, we notice this kingdom weapon used and the most powerful kingdom weapon of love. Mandela, Nelson Mandela, walked out of prison without revenge. Repeat this. And that act in and of itself stabilized a nation. It literally prevented a civil war. That was love. Exercising kingdom authority over country love. Let me cut through Western theology with the words of one of our elders. Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to build children than it is to repair broken men. Cause you've been doing it wrong for so long, right? That, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. We're gonna tell you what you doing ain't working. Look, okay, cool. Let's try this. This what works. Well, you want to have this whole conversation. The kids ain't doing that. We don't want nothing to do with that. Boom, try this. Oh, wow. Now I'm manifesting. Wow. Now I'm developing. Wow. Discipline works. Frederick Douglass talked about Western theology in the appendix of his narrative of the life of his life. Negro slave shit. It's relevant right now. Let me read the words in your hearing. To remove liability, to remove liability and such misapprehension. You did not understand the sacred scroll. I deem it proper to append the following brief explanation. What I have said respecting and against religion, I mean strictly to apply to Western theology, to the slave holding religion of the land, with no possible reference to Christianity proper. You're talking about country, not kingdom. For between the Christianity of this land, country, and the Christianity of Christ, the kingdom, I write to be the friend of one is of necessity to be the enemy of other. I love the pure, peaceable, impartial Christianity of Christ. Listen, I therefore, it's a long word, but I do agree. I therefore hate the corrupt, slave holding, women whipping, cradle plundering, partial, hypocritical Christianity of this land. Indeed, I can see no reason but the most deceitful one for calling the religion of this land Christianity. I look upon it as the climax of all misnobles, the boldest of all federal frauds, and the grossest of all libels. Never was there a clearer case of stealing the livery of the court of heaven to serve the devil in. What Jesus called the religious leaders of his day, sons of Satan. I'm filled with unutterable loathing. The frick does that mean? I'm sick and tired of this shit. When I contemplate the religious pomp and show together with the horrible inconsistencies which everywhere surround me. We got men stealers for ministers, women whippers for missionaries, cradle plunderers for church members, and the man who wielded the blood-clotted cowskin during the week fills the pulpit on Sunday and claims to be a minister of the meek and lowly Jesus. I know this nigga fake. Standing up on the Horizon Sanctuary, Ebenezer, around all the Morehouse boys, right? Tigers or Frosted Flakes. You fake ass gonna wear some bison gear, John Vaughn. You better never in your motherfucking life ever step in the Horizon pulpit again with some bison gear, you bitch. Fake something else, fuck boy. Wanna hang out with the homos? You wanna hang out with the house niggas? Then don't come up here with these ox. Jesus said, Matthew 11, come to me, nigga. All in the beloved community. All who are heavy burdened by this non-biblical, non-benevolent bullshit going on in the Horizon Sanctuary by they fuck fugazi, fun grant writing, executive pastor John Auburn Theological Center. Nigga, don't be writing no shit to make motherfuckers think you got a history on Auburn Avenue in the trenches. Nigga, you came out the basement in Brooklyn, bitch, by way of Massachusetts, just like Shannon Jones. You niggas can talk the King's English to the Queen's liking, but you can't communicate with our community, nigga, because you're not one of us. One of you niggas was PR, still PR. Other nigga a grant writer. Warnock got to get a new staff for him, and fuck you hoes. On behalf of my beloved community, Jesus has come to me, and I'm going to give you rest. Rest don't mean to go to sleep on the job like the Morehouse niggas doing. Rest means to mend what was broken. Rest means to finish a thing. You know, you got to give it to the hood with creative arts like Yogi did. Y'all know in Mortal Kombat when motherfuckers is wobbling and they like, finish him. Let me finish him. That's what Jesus is saying. Come to me, and I'm going to finish him and then give it back in love. He said, take my yoke, homo. I don't know where you came from, boy. I don't know who your teacher is, boy. And I know we let Shannon do a whole lot of shit, but you think when her creative arts department is going up against the after school Satan Club for damn near a decade, and I'm bitching at you about the loss that my Hellertown school district just took in federal court to Douglas Mesner, who changed his name to Lucian Greaves, Satan's little millionaire, that launched the after-school Satan Club over free speech. No ass too upset about the fact that the last assignment Joseph Lawrence Roberts gave me before he shut his eyes was this United Nations Global Celebration of People of African Descent, 2014 to 2015. Gave it to me in 2014 to 2024. And you acknowledging it, but you ain't acknowledging three principles, homo boy. You fat glitterball Luther wannabe ass nigga. First principle is recognition of the work that our forefathers and foremothers done. We're not dealing with other shit up there. All these cluster fucks are yours, du boy. Welcome to Atlanta. We hold leaders accountable. The second one is justice. Fighting for the least of these. You know it was June 11th. That's Edith Scott Bagley's birthday. Bitch boy. We march for your lives. Not this Yoki. This Yoki. His daughter, the one he named after her, Brand, March for Your Lives, with Congresswoman McBath, whose son died over some hip-hop shit. You came out intentionally in front of our kids reading a fucking index card in Velcro slipper. And then you turned your homo ass and went the fuck back inside. Me, Gerald Griggs. This Congresswoman walked up Jackson, down Edgewood, to Love Park. You had Connie Smith going along taking tanked your reputation to my youth, my boy. You showed them you ain't give a fuck about them. Came out with your little Velcro shoes, showing them that you was siding with the white folk in the institution. You wasn't gonna walk with them. Not the first time you ever had a chance to. And then you gonna sit up in that pulpit that you're in and rock my shit. My boy! My boy. I'm preaching you, pussy! That's what you said on that recorded call. You want an engagement, right? Not from the colonizer classroom standpoint. Hey, homie, John Vaughn, when you walk out, yo, sanctuary, you got this African cross on the bell tower. Let me break it down to you so you understand why. See, it because our mamas, but you don't respect them. So I'm gonna throw your bitch ass on blast. Cause you know why? Ho nigga. See, I'm gonna tell you why. Because her granddaughter, his granddaughter, her granddaughter, his daughter, her niece, named after her, she accepted her call to ministry. You the executive pastor of his father's church. And your bitch ass ain't said nothing. And love, though. So, this 1988, this the year the kids that we call the Remnant, born from 1988 to 2007, the 19 to 36-year-olds, all those politicians you catering to want the vote that you can't deliver, can't engage. This is the year she gave Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker the Distinguished Award, because it's two King official organizations. It's the King Center, founded by her, and it's the King Association, founded by her. But all you political motherfuckers need to understand why we call them our original Mompreneur Squad. Because these two women, along with Shirley Chisholm, launched the National Political Congress of Black Women. She the political powerhouse. She the prophetic one. Or I'm putting on in the power. Well, she, Coretta Scott King, got her, Cynthia Dolores Nodis Tucker, to set up ringing the bell, Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Now, 1994, Dexter and Yolanda, right after she got the King Day to be a day of service, we celebrated it January 17th. January 18th, Dexter monetizing his pop, nothing wrong with it, killed a bunch of departments. It's a difference, bro, between how Dexter, now y'all remember Jesus, for y'all try to take my shit and go left. You know how y'all do. Y'all remember Jesus, when Joseph died, Jesus became the eldest son to a single mama in the hood. Any good thing come from Nazareth? That's Southside Jamaica, Queens, North Philadelphia, the old 4-4 all day. That's the hood. And like many young black boys watching his mama struggle, he want to come up with a way to get a bag. Jesus launched an enterprise that sustained his family. What the fuck is the difference between what Dexter did? And you niggas got a problem? Fuck you, he is Scott. Even if he do something wrong, he's still wrong. Arturo, he ain't too bold. Marty III, not too bold. Dexter, not too bold. That's why they got that Boyden Scott hybrid. Now, that got fixed by a conference call on January 19th. And even though a lot of youth department over here was gone, a lot of folk from up here ended up down here. I ended up down here January the 20th, 1994. On January the 23rd, that Sunday, I was placed under watch care of Joseph Lawrence Roberts and positioned under my Deacon Marvin Princeton. So when Joe Roberts and Senator Leroy Johnson and John Lewis and all the GOATs built that heritage sanctuary, they put that African Ethiopian cross for us little boys to ring the fucking bell. I'm ringing your bell now, son. See, Shannon slid out. That was smart. You? Oh, let me deal with you in the prophetic. The African prophetic lens. See, that's what this is, son. It's love. I know you might weaponize the National Park Service. I know you might lose your political cronies using everything the country then gave you at disposal. But see, that's what happens right here, homie. It's when the country meets the kingdom. You just had a head-on collision with love, my boy. Love, not emotion. Jesus never said, if you love me, you're going to run around the sanctuary. Some colonized bishop gave y'all that. Jesus never said, if you love me, when I pour this Crisco on, you're going to fall on your knees. No, baby. The swag make you do that. Jesus said, if you love me, you're going to keep my commandments. Oh, wait a minute. Soldiers Love those, we call them orders. Obedience? Ooh. You don't know how to break that down, homie. That's not a word you feel as though you need to teach in your teaching. Following orders from the heart. The believing soldier practices this on an everyday basis. Because every day, Mark 1:35, you might not know how to connect these like this. Jesus got up and went to pray, not kumbaya in Easter speech, but John 15, I'm the vine, my father's the vine dresser, no tree can bear fruit unless it abides in me. Prayer is not, what you emotionally want to write down for someone. Prayer is getting into perpetual union with the Father through his Son, Jesus Christ, one image, many dimensions. Did I just teach you? Where is that right here? Make sure you can read it for yourself. Did I just, I'm a little out of order. I'm ahead of myself, huh? Okay, let me put it back. Let me put it back for you. Did I just teach you that he the true wine, our source and supplier? What's wrong, homie? Ain't that shit you got in that book with them white folk show you how to connect it here? That's what you asked me on that recorded call that's about to go out. You just want engagement. Stop being fake, homie. Because see, soldiers, we love obedience, not to the colonizer's classroom, but to the divine instruction. That's what love is, my boy. Love, let me teach you. Because you telling folks they're the righteousness of God, but you can't, what Daddy King say, you can't make it plain. It's fighting the right way. Well, I'll punch you in the pulpit, homie, with all types of prophetic pericopes. Don't get upset and try and get me arrested. 1, 2, 3, damn, you up to your 5th time. Document it. Righteousness is fighting the right way. We teaching this, right? You getting it? I'm breaking it down for you. It's Monday morning. I'm teaching, son. Long suffering. It's the ability to keep striving the right way. Although you may be dealing with negative people or circumstances, what, homie? Long suffering in hostile environments. How in the world have you turned Coretta's campus into a hostile environment? Because everything was all love until you came, my boy. This whole environment. It was Shannon and Warnock. Shannon gone. You called me because you wanted community. The community saw me walk Brittany and everybody around. So all of the challenges we got, everybody like, what the fuck is going on? And we come down to May of 2023. We see Kaden had a conversation with you, Shannon Jones, and Eric Victor Thomas about the real fight I'm having with Doug Mesner and his satanic cult and his after-school Satan club in the trenches of our urban fucking schools for over a fucking decade. And I just lost based on freedom of speech. The Hellertown School District just lost. The clergy just lost. The school district just lost. The parents just lost based on some federal fucking bullshit about free speech because you want to focus on, all you country motherfuckers want to focus on the loaded Supreme Court decision on abortion. Listen, I don't have a position on abortion, all right? Like I don't have a position on what a woman does with her body if she not in my bed. And you don't like my position? Stop lying, girl. Go home to your own bed then. That's my position. But simultaneously, the Supreme Court also announced we can have prayer in schools. That's a big fucking deal. But we can't, watch this word, prothonicize. We can't push Christianity. We can't push Islam. We can't push Judaism. We can't push any particular type of religion. So we got Satan, who's crafty on some real crafty shit. Through Douglas Mesner, who is in the trenches working in that space. This nigga talking about he coming after the Good News Club. Nigga, you ain't coming after the Good News Club. You coming up against Urban Success University. Because when Yolanda shut her eyes, right? That's when you lost this A.D. King Foundation. And all you motherfuckers know that's the only issue I got with Isaac fucking Ferris. Period. I done announced these marches with Naomi, the biggest march Naomi ever experienced in her life on behalf of the A.D. King Foundation is my march. Babs can't get 1,000 black kids. Shannon can't get 1,000 black kids. Isaac can't get 1,000 black kids. You'll see 1,000 black youth marching from Booker T. Washington High School. Y'all know that's his alma mater, right? With Ted Jackson, our Fulton County Sheriff. You see Naomi go by. Then you see, did you see them sirens? Then you see me calling cadence for a bunch of little boys. It was Boy Scouts. They believe in soldiers now. I had 50 high schools when Yolanda shut her eyes. Got you now. Of course you do. But you'd rather play with that $4 million grant you got from the public education department, knowing Trump gonna shut the public education department down without having no fucking having to come up with no deliverable. You like playing in them spaces, right, Vaughn? But you can't, and I understand it, my boy. You plastic. So when I step out in the trenches, really giving our youth what it takes behind the wall in real prison ministry, you can't do it. Get the fuck out my lane. Get out of entrepreneurship. Get out of community engagement. And get the fuck out of ending mass incarceration. You are incompetent, son. Unprepared. You need to get a pen and take some fucking notes on how we really do this. Because I'm in a space you can't get to, son. I'm too far the fuck ahead of you for you to catch up. You know, where we started this thing, this Bright Hope thing, this Zion Baptist Church thing, North Philadelphia, my boy, I got a big Christian population. I started in the most prophetic Black Baptist churches we ever had. I got a heavy McMean population. That means Muslim. Weirdo. Heavy Jewish population. And see, behind the wall, where you never been, your consultants never go, when men are suspended from the things that distract them, we can get into some real red letter lessons. Let me give you one. Jesus, you remember him? Yeshua, you remember him? He never said, if you want to be my Muslim, you identify as Mukmeen, Assalamu alaikum, you know I love you. He never said, if you want to be my Christian, you identify as a Christian, I love you. He never said, if you want to be my Jew, y'all niggas ain't gonna Kanye me, you identify as a Jew, I love you. He said, if you want to be my disciple. It's levels to this, son. You too sermonically shallow to approach me, boy, in this sacred scroll. So discipleship, that's something different. Come on in the class. Got kids watching me deal with you. They was gonna march on you. But I know you so fucking colonized and corrupt. My 2015 march for educational rights in Philadelphia, you'll flip that shit, have my kids locked up like you've been having them locked the fuck up. That's why I came, nigga. Because you've been provoking my boys and then getting them locked the fuck up with astronomical bears. Talking about you fighting for justice. They was about to come for your homo ass, in my opinion. So 10 years ago, 13 years ago, let me think. We went behind the wall in State Road in 2007. We was dealing with Shannon Jones' shallowness in 2011, 15 fucking years ago. Dealing with the issue you still ain't caught up with yet. The fact that in our urban communities, I got Muslim kids, I got Jewish kids, I got Christian kids, and they play in the same blocks. If they go in the Muslim house, they obeying those Mukmeen rules. They go in the Christian house, they obeying those Christian rules. They go in the Jewish house, they obeying those Christian rules. When they go to, all three of those households are prayer households. All three of those households are aligned with God households. When they go to their elementary school, when they go to their middle school, when they go in their high school that's overrun, that literally has an after-school Satan club now, they're the minority. And so we can sit down. It's right here, homie. Just download a copy. There's much that we can disagree on. However, the Quran, the Bible, I stay in the Torah in the first 5 books, all state that there are some foundational things that we can agree on that will improve our communities, our youth, our households. Let's stop fighting ourselves and focus our energy as a positive example to our youth in submission to our God. That's what ML asks, right, new boy? Community or chaos? Chaos is when we're fighting for ourselves. Community is when we're fighting for each other. Now, all the foundational teachings and principles of Urban Success University, it's what Yolanda demanded as her dean, be based on the following kingdom principles found in both the Bible and Quran. Regardless of Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, all parents should know the teaching of Urban Success University, adequately respect all religious viewpoints of all youth involved. You know, Adam and Eve, they ain't the Bible and the Quran, my boy. Bible and the Quran, my boy. Pharaoh, Joseph's dream, Bible and the Quran, my boy. Moses, Bible and the Quran, my boy. I know, them plastic degrees you got, don't do this. Saul, David, Goliath, Bible and Quran, my boy. Mary, Jesus, Bible and Quran, my boy. I don't speak religion. I speak kingdom, my boy. And our kids, that's what they're looking for, my boy. Love. So, no, I know you're not up on, well, you got the colonizer degree. So, in these religious circles, there are two definitions of grace. There's the Amplified Bible Dictionary, the one that the colonizer prefers, most popularly preached in our urban pulpits, God's unmerited favor. In my opinion, that's an Old Testament definition. Okay, that's a bush burning without burning. That's God splitting the Red Sea. I don't know if you Apple or Android, but you up on the latest, right? It's been a while since you heard of a bush burning without burning. Then we got you. Did you take New Testament, my boy? John Vaughn. Did you take New Testament? Did you have to acknowledge Strong's Concordance, New Testament, Bible, dictionary, definition of faith? Of grace. The divine influence upon your heart that needs to get reflective in your life. Purpose, pussy. I ain't coming for war knock. You're shallow. You a dude boy. We fuck around and I'm preaching you in love, right? So love, right? Grace. The divine influence upon my heart. Let me connect some dots that obviously your professor didn't. Solomon, you remember him? David's son. We started sitting on the throne of David. Okay. Solomon, richest, wisest king, so says God. 1 Kings, 3rd chapter. Love, wisdom. Believing soldier, spiritual weapon. You got to study if you want to talk to our youth, son. That's what we've been teaching for the past 15 years. Wisdom. I told you earlier, hearing and doing. All right. So Solomon in the book of wisdom says wisdom is, Proverbs is calling the street, hearing and doing. Our kids will never listen to you. You can put on an H-U, disrespect the shit out of some H-U Merc. But you ain't an ox, boy. You're not one of us, boy. Malcolm X talked about the house nigga and the field nigga. He said the house nigga, you grew up in the attic or the basement with the slave master. He's more in tune with the slave master. He's never been in the field. Never been on the yard, my boy. We can't source you, my boy. We can. From a basement in fucking Massachusetts. Hey, you, the representation of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church in these racist times, I ain't coming at you, my boy. You hired and rooted by Warnock, all right? Renee Glover, you heard God. But my spiritual father, Leon Howard Sullivan, he said, because when everybody was running from the inner city, he was running to it. When everybody was running from our kids, like you and your cronies, he's running to them. He said, you either a part of the problem or you're part of the solution. My boy, you the problem. Let me put your boss to the side. You got bigger shit to do. He in the Senate. We're not. It's your past. 3 black men, boys, were shot in Atlanta since your boss went in office. His biggest issue was community. He up there now, nigga. So this community issue is yours, my boy. And you new in our city, man. You got some big fucking shoes to fill, boy. All right? In our community, we holding your new jackass accountable. 2 boys got shot in Atlantic Station. We gonna put Shannon to the side. You ain't said or did shit. 3 boys got shot. My boy, from summer of 21 to summer of 24. Fulton County, Big Brothers Anonymous. Like how you turned your back on the United Nations global celebration of people of African descent. Put that to the side for a minute. But Fulton County, where you just came to, Big Brothers Anonymous. The Obama Foundation, my brother's keeper, got all the black boys together in Fulton County from the summer of 21 to the summer of 24, first and third Saturday. Ain't no member of your ministerial team ever show the fuck up. And don't tell me you ain't know, nigga, because I told you in the middle of 2022. That's not important. I graduated them, fuckboy, at the historic Auburn Avenue Library. Many of them, first time in their life, they put together a custom suit. Put on a custom suit. 3 boys got shot in the Reverend James Orange Park 3 weeks later. Fuck Shannon Jones coming up spewing violence. That seemed like your staff do. But you ain't said a mumbling word. Let me fast forward the videotape. Now, Brunson, your little men's ministry leader, little politician nigga, and Warnock might have been in the Hamptons. But you the executive pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist. 11 black boys got shot. 300 block of Edgewood Avenue. Nigga, you can throw a rock from your sanctuary and get that bus stop. You ain't said a mumbling word. Shout out to everybody who wants to clean up the old 4th Ward. We got a new commission. Clean up the old 4th Ward. Ran by old, white, gay men and a Karen. We ain't got nothing against you if you're old. We ain't got nothing against you if you're white. We ain't got nothing against you if you're gay. But, you, John Vaughn, having launched your Ebenezer One campaign, about creating a tech center for the youth, about raising millions of dollars for a justice fund. The reason our youth are only in Edgewood, which Marty Smith, the head education ranger for National Park Service, did that degree or video on behalf of National Park Service, said 100 years ago, if you had a black business, you couldn't have it in Buckhead. You couldn't even have it in Bankhead. You had it in Auburn and Edgewood. It's the sweet Auburn district. It's the heart, the nucleus, the original Black Wall Street. But all the youth who have these amazing entrepreneurial ideas, who have this, all our daughters who have this amazing creativity, you ain't got no ear for them. They optics. Took that hymn, My God's a Mighty Fortress, and locked the doors. That's why you pushed them over to the racetrack. They over there. They in Kinley, over there. Anybody in the network you cut some check to make it about me. Well, nigga, I'm her lightning rod. I'm the shepherd. I'm making it about me, using you and to teach the Holy Ghost. You don't have no ear for the black men in the community. This task force had its first meeting on the porch. They got their next meeting in your sanctuary. When you gonna give the youth, the community, a voice? You got a problem with me, because I'm the remnant voice. I'm just loving on you, my boy. You been taking my meekness for weakness. Love is persistence under rejection. Listen, soft boy, teach you about real African manhood. Love is spiritual masculinity refined, and this spiritual femininity fortified. You talk to the young kings you've been shitting on, the ones baptized by Joe Roberts, grew up in that community, that you and your staff come in, get optics, and run the fuck out of. Young kings, hear me. If they provoke you and you react violently, you just clowned out. You literally left the kingdom. See this past 3 years, after hearing what you have been going through for 2 years, during COVID by this clown, coming out of COVID, this been spiritual weapons training. I got Christ Platoon. We founded that in 2012. This is my JROTC platoon, my Joe Roberts Officers Training Corps. Homie, you don't make a difference. Bernice said that in the clip. I'll follow that. Let me pull it up for you, my boy. She said that when she talked about difference between her and Yolanda. She said, Yoki really ain't get to give y'all all that work. She got a prophetic ability to teach her father in ways that speeches can't. Let me unpack what grandma was really saying. Cause she grandma, so she's speaking grandma language, and y'all sometimes not really getting it. All right? Let me give double grandma her shine. All right, and then we go.
Pleasure of interviewing your sister 3 months before she passed. What is it that we did not fully get to experience because of her sudden death? The kind of person she was.
You know, you hit a nerve on that one. You hit a place because my sister didn't get an opportunity to get all of that creative energy and gifting that she had out to the world, that she was trying so desperately to do. She had a way of relating the message and the teachings of my father to audiences who couldn't hear it in a speech form, because she was an actress.
Now, look, we're going to differ. We're going to disagree. Her mother said, it's okay. Coretta Scott King. That's, listen, I'm trying to teach y'all, okay? Look, watch this. Watch this. You see him? That's Yolanda, and that's Bernice. Okay? That's Martin Luther King. That's Coretta Scott. Now, she was 5 when he got assassinated. So she got to see all of this shit he went through. So she has a different perspective, a prophetic one, that has to be taught practically. Is it what? Bernice, her guy is Samuel Collier. Aaron Bernard, you see Sam talking about, I'm here because of Bernice. That's Bernice's youth guy. That's my guy. Fuck with Collier. You know what it is. I'm Yolanda's. What's different? So it's not the performance from a pulpit. It's not. It's the practical application in the minds of our children, teaching our sons that the power isn't in their fist, it's in their discipline. Like, yeah, because our sons, they're dealing with a lack of mental intelligence, a lack of discipleship. Root word of discipleship is teaching discipline. So they say in their finite understanding they want to bust their gun. No, we gonna kill them with love, not by being soft, by being steadfast and the fuck unmovable. Then we gotta talk to our daughters, right? That have been raised by mamas who said go to the church, and so they feel like the church not there. Well, fuck it, I'm gonna just go get an OnlyFans. Devil's a liar. And we got to teach them the definition of grace, the divine influence upon your heart that needs to get reflective in your life. Solomon, richest, wisest king, says, as you see yourself in your heart, as a man or woman thinks in their heart, so they become. Well, based on the colonizer classroom, you think in your brain. You pump blood in your heart. So this doesn't make sense. Well, the word is your cardia, your inner being. Mama and them called it your shanana. So as you see yourself, you become. So if you see yourself like, you know what? I got to just tap out. I got to do what the culture say do. I'm going to go ahead and spin this 250, bend over, bust it open, and do what I got to do for my babies. The culture praying on that. The colonizer praying on that. The country is praying on that. But we got some real mamas. Shit, I know I do. I know in this village we do. That put the work in to build organizations holding on to God's unchanging fucking hand. That's what they said. Same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So we got to give that inspiration to our daughters and let them know that these weirdos behind the desk with all these titles talking about just give me some grace, just give me some grace. No, nigga, we going to give you some grace. Not an excuse. We going to give you some accountability and love. Because grace is not accepting abuse. Grace is not justification of tolerating disrespect. Where the fuck is the love in that? Love is not accepting abuse. Love is not tolerating disrespect. Love is administration. You love your life by focusing on building it. You love your business by stewarding it. You love your future by protecting it. You love your mind by rejecting the lies that social media and Satan is attempting to put by not succumbing to the over-sexualization and the social media pressure, attempting to objectify you, telling you the worth is in your body. No, it's in your brains. Love, you do this by loving your body and honoring it. Loving your community and like those before you by building it. That's why we got black women run the world. Because love is a spiritual strategy. We got economic warfare that we need to deal with. A boycott don't do nothing for us. A boycott don't train for jobs. A boycott don't redirect our spending to our dollar. A boycott don't do nothing but let the talking heads look like they got some street cred. We don't know them niggas outside. We need a redirection. We need to, same way we loving on our children, we got to love on our businesses. We doing that. We giving them free AI smart matching. Because the digital transformation from brick and mortar to click and order, when Google shifted its entire small business platform from Google My Business to Google Business Profiles, that was 4 years ago, November 2021. So we can't even talk about that. They're trying to talk about it 4 years. We just going to give them what they need. We're going to reconnect them because that just makes sense. W.E.B. Du Bois gave us that over 100 years ago in the Negro in business. He said nothing. That's zero, zit, nada. That's what we got going on right now. Zero, zit, nada. Du Bois said in the Negro in business, nothing, zero, zit, nada can ever take place in a community that fails to recirculate its dollar. How in the world can we recirculate our dollar in our community if we don't know who the businesses in our community are? That's why we had the paper directories. And guess what? Those networks that were established crashed, 80% of them, during COVID. Why? Because we didn't have the infrastructure the business owners need. The women ain't going to get together because they're women. The guys get together because of the game. The kids get together because we tell them to. But the entrepreneurs, they need substance that we didn't provide. Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So we're not putting our children, we're not putting our businesses in the hands of spiritual leaders that are more committed to politics and the colonizer coin than our community. Period. So we're reconnecting all of our businesses through the Kingdom Marketplace, where we're transforming the marketplace. That's where Jesus did everything he did in the marketplace, from a platform that Satan has a stronghold on to a major spiritual transformational platform in the lives of God's people. We're elevating their visibility in the AI era. We're loving our youth, to intergenerational revitalization, rebuilding of our urban business community, the beloved business community. Because at the same time, we're providing all of that to our youth. To our elders, we're providing real entrepreneurial employment and training to our youth. This is what our daughters launched in their Brains Over Booze movement. We got to put Shannon to the side when we deal with Vaughn in December of 2022, because when those two boys got shot in Atlantic Station, this is the project that Shannon Jones went on Atlanta 11 Live and said he was providing to build our businesses, lower teen violence, put a couple dollars in the pockets of our kids. But the old white guy who owned the directory, he gave kickbacks to a lot of the influencers in the clergy cliques, particularly in the Atlanta metro. I don't. Like, they've been on the con odds of coin so long that when it comes time to really build community, really do stuff like select patronage, really do stuff like 1036, they think that's for optics. Standing on a call with me talking about anybody from Zion still around? Me, you fucking idiot. Like, that's how out of touch. 20 years ago, nigga said he was hip hop. Look at him. Fat, glitter ball, Luther wannabe. And for those of you not up on the culture, we just call it bussing. Matter of fact, we call it playing the Joneses. So I'm be playing these niggas for a while. You know why? Our youth wanted to run up and run down on them. I gotta say, chill. That's what the fuck they looking for. Don't make this bitch nigga a martyr. We're gonna use him to message the Messiah. Cause the message to the Messiah is the same. The messaging just has to change. I ain't hating on them niggas like they hate on me. If you can deal with it, I'm loving our political and religious critics. Not by attacking them, by demonstrating the power of the hood Holy Ghost in the trenches where they scared to go. What you said, who will go? Send me, Lord. See, we got a language divide. We got a language divide between the elders and the remnant. How would they hear if it not be for a preacher? We got a language divide between the church building and the streets. But the assignment is for the lost. So if the church don't have anybody who can put the message of the Messiah and the language of the street, and you've been around for 20 years, we already see what you really on. We got a language divide between AI and our businesses. We got AI smart matching. We got a language divide between everybody like, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. Jesus, his disciples, nor God ever called you a member of any religion. This is not a religious book. Nowhere in this book does it call itself a devotional. It calls itself a covenant. That's a set of bylaws between the kingdom and its citizens. Difference between the country and the kingdom. But you only got the country version of the sacred scroll. You got to be in the world, not of the world. We kingdom kids. But you only read the kingdom government set of bylaws from a country perspective. They are polar opposites. If you grow up in a kingdom and you run around with these country folk, like, these niggas weird. And vice versa. But love. Love is the bridge. Love translates. Love connects. Love reconciles. I don't know if y'all realize it, but when it comes to them Scots, love performs. So I'm putting on. For God, putting on. For my mamas, and love is creative arts to some. To the Scots, it's Christ in action. Love in action. It's a legacy of love. From Amazing Grace, Coretta Scott, my mama, Eda Scott Bagley, and our prophetic founding producer. She's a little bit more than just an actress, Bernice. The Yokemeister, the great Yoki of the Yokis, the young organization of kings internationally serving. Once the Bill Gray Basketball League, Yoki 1.0, Yolanda Denise King. Love is not theory. It's a prophetic performance. It's the gospel embodied. It's transformation enacted. I'm gonna let y'all up out of here. But this morning, as we sit on February the 16th, 16 days ago, we closed out the 20-year, 110-day ascension period of our mamas, celebrating the life of Coretta Scott King. We breathed for a day. Celebrated Mook Erica Scott, first daughter of the Remnant, February 1st, 2015, to ascend. 7 days later, KJ, little man, Uptown Philly's king, mother ascended.
Of your grace, who can stand in the depth of your love? You love me so deep. You call us holy, so we may come in. So as you.
That's little Eric celebrated her mom.
So as you.
We are not country citizens first. We are citizens of the kingdom first. Yeah, the government. Government will be upon his shoulders, but not the country. I'm not running for office. I've been here since a baby. He doesn't give us an elected official. In our tradition, as an African people, we transfer our history, our prophetic perspective orally. What the colonizer does is they take over shit, the genocide formula, they take over shit, they create a divide between the children and the adults. And as the adults are dying, they make the children feel like the adults didn't care. So the children have to react to their satanic methods. You know, Mama and them told us that the mind is the devil's playground. They playing on the minds of our children. And so the only way to combat that is love. That is the culture of the kingdom. That is the administration of the kingdom. That is the law of the kingdom. I don't know how else to teach you. That is the most powerful spiritual weapon of the kingdom. And the increase of the kingdom, his government, that shall have no peace. Young kings advance violently with love. Daughters govern boldly with love. Community, we got to intergenerationally revive, rebuild, and restore our beloved community with love. Because when we love, we're not weak. We are sharing kingdom governance. And that's what we need right now. 2 days, we're going to celebrate the life of Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald, believing soldier general, one of my best friends, first officer to die in the line of duty at Temple University, February 18th, 2023. Next day. Inside I'm drowning, carrying every night I whisper, with no prayer for your mercy to finally pull me out. Lord, I'm tired of being strong. I can't keep fighting it alone. I need your hand to carry me when I can't stand on my. I've been brave far too long, but this heart is wearing out. Lord, I'm tired of being wrong. So please just hold me. I've been trying to guard my soul. Oh, but the cracks are showing. And I'm losing control. Yeah. People think I'm fearless, unshaken by the pain. But even the strongest need grace in the rain. And it ain't on my own.